Hey, I have something to tell you. I'm a girl. I'm transgender. Hi everyone, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about coming out as transgender, in my case, as a transgender woman. I'm going to be talking about my experiences with it, as well as some general tips and advice for coming out, based on, again, my own experiences, stuff that I've read from other trans people, some advice that I've gotten from my therapist. So I hope that this can be helpful if you are at the beginning stages of your gender identity and transition journey and you're feeling nervous about coming out. Let me share a little bit of my experience and advice with you. Hopefully that helps. Don't be too scared. It'll be alright. Okay, so the central question that I'm going to be analyzing this is, how do you come out as transgender, right? So I think that coming out really begins at the very beginning of your transition journey, which is to say, before you even start transitioning, when you're questioning your gender identity and trying to figure out who you are, even for yourself, then you shouldn't be going through that alone. Like, hopefully you have some close friends or family that you know will be supportive of you and that you can talk to about the kind of deep stuff going on in your life. So I would encourage you to talk to some of your close friends and family. Tell them, hey, I'm going through something really kind of crazy right now. I don't know what my gender is. I'm questioning my gender. I don't know if I'm a boy or a girl, whatever. And open up to them about it. Don't go through it alone. Don't just sit there in anxiety spiral in your head about oh my god, am I transgender? Holy. Don't do that. I did that. It sucks. Talk to your friends. Don't go through it alone. And if you don't have anybody to talk to about it in your life because they're not accepting or whatever, or maybe because you're scared, but I'd say don't be too scared. But either way, there's always the online trans community on places like Twitter and Reddit, Tumblr, wherever you commonly go on the internet. YouTube, I'm right here. I guess I'll talk to anybody if you want to talk about it. Yeah, there's trans people on the internet and communities that will be there to support you. So talk to somebody about it. Don't go through the questioning period alone. And it's not, it's scary, but telling somebody that you're questioning your gender isn't as bad as coming out as oh my god, I'm a girl now, look at me, It's a little bit easier. So then once you've actually started your transition, and you need to come out to somebody as your gender, your gender presentation is different now since the last time that you saw them, and you need to be hey, look, I transitioned, I'm a girl now, or whatever. How do you do that? Well, I'm going to say it's as simple as what I just said. A mistake that I made a lot at the beginning of my transition was trying to over-explain my transition to people. But here's the thing, is you don't owe an explanation to anybody. You can look however you want, dress however you want, be however you want, and you're just you, and you don't owe anybody anything about an explanation. So I would tell my friends at the beginning, if I saw a new friend that I hadn't seen since before I transitioned, I'd be explaining to them how I knew I was trans and what transitioning has been like, and just trauma dumping. And don't get me wrong, that conversation is fine to have, with somebody at some point, but you don't need to do it as soon as you hang out with somebody. Say your friend hits you up since you transitioned, they don't know that you've transitioned yet, and they want to ask you to hang out, then you just call them up and say, hey, look, or I guess most people my age text, they don't call, but anyway, be oh yeah, cool, let's hang out. By the way, I actually transitioned, I'm a girl now, my name is Vera, I use she, her, and just don't make a big deal out of it and be confident. And that confidence, it's something that maybe you learn a little bit over time as you transition, but that confidence is so key. When people see that you're confidently yourself and just happy and transitioning is not this weird awkward thing, if you don't make it an awkward thing that you've transitioned, then I can only speak to the college progressive environment that I'm in, but they won't make it a big deal if you don't make it a big deal, is basically what I'm saying. So just be confident, don't feel like you need to owe an explanation to anybody, and it does get easier. I know it's scary and I know it's awkward at first, but it does get easier, trust me. So then the last point I'd like to address is some tips for coming out to your family. I think that this can be a little bit different for everyone. I mean, everybody's transition experience is different, but for family in particular, sometimes, your family will be your closest people in your life that you're going to talk to when you're like going to the questioning phase, and they'll be the first people to know. For others, like, you might be like estranged from your family, and it's like years later and you've never told them that you're trans, and then you've got like this whole thing to come out to your whole family about. I'm a little bit in the middle. I'm pretty close with my family, but I've been more distant the past couple years just because of life circumstances with me and my family. And so in my experience, I started transitioning, and then it was a few months to almost a year before I told all of my family members, and unfortunately my family is kind of like separated out, like they're not really all together, like, so I had to tell different people individually. But my general tips for coming out to your family are emphasize your well-being. Like, tell them how good transitioning has been for you if you've already started transitioning, or if you haven't started transitioning yet, tell them about, how poor your mental health is, or just like what like a negative space it is to be in your pre-transition self, and how it's affecting your mental health. And transitioning is what is going to help you better yourself and live like a happy, fulfilling life. Because ultimately, your family cares about you. They want you to be happy. That's what my family has said to me so many times, is we just want you to be happy. I'm still struggling with like acceptance and understanding from my family. But the one thing that they always say is they just want me to be happy. And even though they don't totally understand it, and maybe don't completely believe that this is like the thing that will like make me happy. I mean, this isn't the thing that will solve all the problems in your life, but like they understand that when I have emphasized to them, like, this has made me so happy. Like, I'm happier than I've ever been in my entire life since I started transitioning. And I just know that this is who I am, and this is how I need to live my life to be happy and fulfilled and live just like a pleasant life. And so I think that they're really understanding of that. And another tip that I have is for you to encourage them to ask questions and to try and be actively understanding. Parents and family tend to think that they know everything about you, which in some sense it's true, that they kind of know more about you than anyone else, but they miss like a lot of details, especially if you're off in college like me, and your life is kind of separate from them now, and they just miss like a lot of details about like the current like life that you live, and like perspective on who you are as a person. So they do kind of know you better than anybody else, but they've only got one perspective. So they think that, like, they'll often think that they know you better than you know yourself, and so they will explain to you how you cannot possibly be transgender, and they know what your gender identity is, and they know all this better than you. But the thing is, they haven't done the introspection. Like, most cis people have not like thought that hard about gender before, and they just haven't gone through the ringer of like really like asking yourself the hard questions about like who you are, what you want to be, what is gender, how do you want people to perceive you, how do you perceive yourself. Cis people don't, I mean, they have their own, everybody has like universal struggles about finding out who they are, but cis people don't understand the struggles of trans people inherently, and parents think that they understand you. So those two things just kind of interact in like a negative way. So parents just tend to be very assumptive that they know like what's going on already with you, and like they know you better than you know yourself. So you just have to explain to them, or you have to get them in a headspace that's like, please just listen to me, listen to what I'm telling you, and try and understand. It's okay if you have your own opinions, and it's okay if you have your own thoughts and feelings and reactions to this, but before you start telling me everything that you think about me, listen to me tell you this important thing about myself, and if there's anything that you don't understand, start asking questions about it. Because again, cis people will make assumptions based on what they think they know about trans people and what they think they know that trans identity is like, and I don't know why they make those assumptions, but they just do. But like, you got to get them in a space where they are trying to understand, trying to ask questions. Hopefully they'll start doing like some reading and research, and you can like send them some resources. So just get them at a point where they are like trying to understand. I feel like I rambled on that one a little bit. Sorry, guys. And then my last tip for coming out to your parents, and just coming out in general, I guess, is to try and come out on your own terms. Like, try and control the environment. Personally, my dad took me out into the woods just to hang out, and then like had me smoke some weed with him, and then he like sprung the question on me, like, so what's been going on with you? And it's just like, can we not do this right now? Can we not do this like while we're literally stoned? So yeah, if you can like manipulate the situation to be able to come out when you want to come out, like have everything prepared that you want to say, that is a lot more helpful than them just springing it on you. I know that's not always possible, but it's something to try for. Okay, I do have one last little tip. So like I said, you don't owe an explanation to anybody, and you don't owe them, like, if you suddenly look different and present different and you're a whole different gender, like that's totally fine. Nobody can tell you not to do that. But the one thing that I think is kind of helpful, even for yourself, is to be like experimenting with your style before you transition like completely and like come out to everyone. This is just a general transition tip, but I think that it makes it a little bit easier to just like understand. I mean, this is part of like the whole experimenting and questioning phase, so I really encourage you to get deep on that phase. Maybe I'll make another video about it, but like if you just like change up your style a little bit, like if you're trans femme, then start wearing slightly more feminine clothes, like maybe wear a little bit shorter shorts than you normally do, or a little bit more feminine of a top, or like maybe wear a little bit of jewelry, or start to grow out your hair. Then that kind of like slow shift from your old appearance to your new appearance can be helpful for you and less jarring for people that you come out to. Again, you don't owe that to anybody, but it can be helpful, especially for parents. In my experience, like I said, I didn't come out to my parents for like over a year, or not over a year, almost a year, until almost a year after I transitioned. But they basically knew I was trans already, because like I was like experimenting with my style a lot, and I basically was just going like full femme presentation all the time by the time I came out to them, and so they knew. I don't know if I like would recommend waiting the way that I did. I had my own problems with it. I'm not going to recommend one way or another, like when is the best time to tell your parents. It's really when you think it's right for you. But I will say that I think that my parents got eased into it a little bit by seeing me like slowly adapt my style before I came out to them. Okay, I don't want this video to be too long. I'm trying to like hit the algorithm time, you know, so it'll be around 13 minutes. If you enjoyed this video, thank you for watching, first of all, and please like, subscribe, leave a comment. I get lots of comments from like weird old European men, so like if you're a trans girl that's like relating to this and it would help you, please let me know, because I love those comments. And check out some other videos on my channel. I think that they'll be like right here because of the end card. And subscribe. I'm gonna be making so much more. I'm so excited to finally be like getting some momentum on YouTube. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye everyone. Goodbye.